Hello there, my friends. Today I'm going to break my silence. I'm going to break my silence on my tenure with PETSMART, the company PETSMART. I worked for them for almost 20 years, and I was their regional pet care manager, which means that I went to every new store and set them up and helped train the employees on how to handle and take care of the animals. Whatever home store they sent me to, I had the best pet loss. And what that would mean is that less animals in my care died at my store than any other store in the company. And I won first place multiple years in a row. Everybody seemed to love me, and they would send me out to their state to teach their employees, blah, 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 tooting my horn there, right? Well, there was a particular female named Donna Slack. And she was kind of a slutty type girl, and she would put all these, she had this, like, you know what Tupperware parties are, where people meet up every Sunday and they talk about Tupperware or whatever? Well, she had dildo parties. I'm not kidding. So she would have parties and they would talk about dildos with girls and stuff like that, and they would film video and post them on Facebook and so forth. She was also caught for stealing several times. She would put her dogs in the PetSmart hotels, but not charge herself for them. And for some reason, the regional vice president manager, who was everybody's boss in the region, loved her. And I think that's because they had a sexual relations in a jacuzzi at a hotel when we were all out of town, out of state, at a function. And I think they got really drunk in a jacuzzi, and she ended up sucking his dick. And his name was Craig Cheesy. And he was the regional vice, and he loved me. But something happened, and she didn't like me at all because she made some moves on me. She put her hand on my leg, and I was dating somebody at the time and didn't find her attractive at all, and too slutty for me. And she got very offended by that. And she ran the hotel at our stores, and after a few years she left. We did not get along after that experience of her trying to hit on me and me not, taking her flirtations. And so she moved on and went to another store, and she got her own store. Well, years later, I found out that she was going to be coming to our store. Our store manager, where I was home store, had passed away, and he was a good friend of mine. And he passed away, and she was going to come take over. And my initial instinct, and everyone that knew me, knew that I should probably ask for a transfer to a different store. So I did. When she got there, she said she was offended by that and put me on the spot and made me feel very uncomfortable that my job would be in jeopardy if I took that transfer. So I offended and upset that store manager, who was looking forward to having me come to his home store. And about, February came around, and I remember it was Valentine's Day, and Donna came up to me and pinned a little heart button on my uniform saying, "I won't be here tomorrow for actual Valentine's Day, so I just wanted to wish you a happy Valentine." Then about 2 hours before the end of my shift, I get a call to the manager's office. Actually, not the manager's office, the training room. And Craig Cheesy was in there. There was another manager in there, and Donna was in there. They sat me down, and they explained to me that they no longer needed my services, and that they felt that my time with PetSmart was over. And I knew it was just her. It was 100% her. She was flexing her power and getting revenge on me for not, for basically harassing me, and me not saying anything about it and just moving on. I got fired. All that tenure, all those years of working for that company, I was just let go like it was nothing. And I was very upset, so upset that I was angry. And I've been angry for a long time. And I feel like I need to speak up and speak out and say something, because it was me who was harassed. And I'm a man. A woman was sexually harassing me. She was flirting with me and making me uncomfortable if I did not accept her advances. She was slutty. She was sleeping around with everybody at the PetSmart stores, sucking dick and making sex videos and sending them to people. It was a terrible time in PetSmart's history, especially because she was blackmailing other people and having them move her up the ranks so she would say something. And you know what's crazy is that today, this scumbag woman, Donna Slack works at the corporate office for PetSmart. Now, what's funny is she came from a restaurant chain and knew nothing about animals. And I think someone like her, who is very aggressive and pushes everybody and steps on necks to get to the top, does not care if you're a good worker, loyal, or sweet or kind-natured. Those are the people she crushed and tossed out of the way first. I found it interesting that this company would support someone like that. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you today all of this just because I have to get it off my chest so I can move on. It's been a long time. This was Valentine's Day 2015. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I'm hoping that by communicating this and talking to you about PetSmart and how they run their policies that you'll understand. What was heartbreaking and why I didn't fight to keep my job was that that's what they were doing as a company. They had lost all of their moved up the ranks people that went into corporate who cared about animals and would do anything for the sake of the animals, which I was one of those people. And what happened is they went into serious financial issues. They almost got purchased by Petco. And what ended up happening was a financial guy purchased the company. And he didn't give a crap about the animals. He wanted money returned. So I think what they did is they systematically got rid of all the people, because my boss, the pet care boss in corporate office in Phoenix, Arizona, he was also moved to a different position. So, and he was in that position forever. So I think his name was David Kless. And he had me flown out to Arizona, and I spent a whole week with him, and we did all this great stuff together. And I could have contacted him when I was terminated, but like I said, I had lost everything I loved about the company and was just working there because I'd worked there for so long, and I was loyal. But when she fired me, I couldn't stop thinking about how much the company had changed, how disloyal they had become to the animals, and how they were only worried about the mighty dollar. And she was an example of the type of managers they wanted. People that didn't know anything about animals. People who all they knew about the animals was what PetSmart told them they were supposed to know. So when you had somebody like me with an education in animals who came along who would look at people like that and go, no, that's not how it works, those types of things, they were intimidated by me. And they started moving in more and more of these people that knew nothing about animals. Nothing about dogs, nothing about cats, nothing about fish, nothing about hamsters, nothing about reptiles. They just didn't know anything. And I would say that dick-sucking Donna Slack was the queen of that. And I apologize for my language, but I have to say these things to get all of this off my chest because she was a slut. She was the company's whore. She was sleeping with everybody. I mean, I talked to her in the office once when she sucked John, this other manager's dick, who was gay, which was even weirder. She must have convinced him. And she had it was disgusting. Anyway, she always would ask me to go to lunch, and I would always say no, unless it was a business lunch, and I would never sit anywhere near. And the thing that capped it all off is, believe it or not, when we were giving a going away party to the store manager who was there before her, who died, we had a going away party for him. And she came up to me and started massaging my neck. And this is on film. And she's massaging my neck, and then she leans into my ear and she goes, "You look really cute tonight." After the touching thing, and but she had gotten tipsy. So I was the person she was flirting with at the party, and I was very uncomfortable being touched and massaged and stuff by some woman, some gross, nasty woman that was cheating on her husband and had a kid that she slapped around and all this other. It was terrible. And it breaks my heart that PetSmart chose to promote a person like that. It is just wrong. It is so wrong. I have never been in a PetSmart since. My loyalty is now to in mom and pop pet stores, and if I have to, Petco. And it's just disgusting. It's the most disgusting thing that has ever happened to me in my life, that I was so mistreated by a company because of their loyalty to a cocksucking slut whore who slept with everybody in the company, and anyone who didn't, she did her best to get them fired. It's just absolutely Donna Slack, Donna Slack. I want you to know who she is. She was racist. She was pretty dumb, too. and just a whore. I mean, her way of getting to the top was to sleep around. So, you know, when you hear things that women do, these types of things, it's true. And the sad part is, ladies, you don't have to be this way. You don't have to do that. Now, the good thing about all of this is that now I know how girls feel. Now I know how women feel. I've always been understanding, and I've never flirted with women, ever. I've never touched anybody. I don't do that stuff. But I now have empathy, true empathy, because I experienced it for myself. Someone was making me, and I haven't gone into the details. I'm just telling you the simple, straightforward stuff. You could tell because as I'm talking, I'm remembering stuff and sharing it with you. But, I know how women feel now, and it's creepy. It is creepy. I can now understand having a male boss saying things like, "You look good in that dress today," or "Man, that's not," you know, that's creepy. You don't do that. You don't compliment what people are wearing that you work with if they're the opposite sex, and you shouldn't do it if they're the same sex. I mean, you could say those are nice shoes, things like that, but you don't compliment things like a tight shirt or, you know what I'm saying. You got what I'm saying, and I'm talking too long on this little platform here, but PETSMART, Donna Slack, Craig Cheesy, the guy that pretty much stabbed me in the back, had zero loyalty, very disappointed in these people. And you know what's funny is all the people that she had to get me fired, except for Craig, are no longer with that company either. That manager, John, the one who she had the ugh on her lip after doing her thing with him, he got fired too by her. And he now works for Petco. I saw him the other day. He was an alcoholic, and he had a lot of issues and stuff. But anyway, I don't drink, so, you know, I'm not judgmental of people that drink. But if you're going to drink and it's going to impact your ability to do your job, then I'm going to have an issue with your drinking. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, I don't care what people do behind their own closed doors. I don't care. But if what you do behind your closed doors starts to impact me, because when you come to work or when you come out and you socialize with me and you do things that put me in jeopardy, my health or you know, my sanity in jeopardy, then I'm going to have a problem with you. Thanks for listening. This is my little PETSMART rant that I had to get off my chest. And you know what? I feel good. I feel good saying out loud that Donna Slack, the slutty cocksucker, you know, whore at PETSMART, got brought up the ladder while I got fired because I was too knowledgeable, too good, too kind, too sweet, had issues with, you know, reprimanding people and things like that because I was just too nice. It's a sick world, isn't it? It's a sick world.